you all know the importance of social media and how powerful it is. I mean, a video you saw literally potentially triggered a nightmare, et cetera, got you to do something. So that being said, like, there's so much footage and raw material coming to us via social media, family and friends, et cetera, and we're seeing it, and you know, we can't fully comprehend it, but we're believing it because we're seeing it. Mm-hmm. That being said, on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have like major media outlets coming up with the most like ridiculous like segments on things. Like, look, I'm not a politician, I'm not a historian, I might not even have the highest IQ, but just listening to what they're saying, I'm like, how is anyone believing this BS, right? But somehow it's working to a degree. It's working, right? So not on everyone, like, you know, you mentioned the senior director that resigned. So not everyone, but it is working. And I'm like, for the first time in forever, it hit me, and maybe now I'm a little older and I'm kind of understanding things. I'm like, this isn't just a war on the ground. It's not even a war, it's an occupation, but that's not the point. It's a media, a PR, a propaganda war, like globally. It's like, who can get people's attention and buy-in the quickest, the most creatively, the most whatever, right? So what are your thoughts on it being truly like a media war, and what do we do, and where do we take it, and how do we we don't have billions of dollars in funding, in media funding, so what do we do, and how do we approach it?
This is absolutely a huge media war. The youth, right? Everything from 12 years old all the way till my age, 37. The first thing that we do, and the quickest way we get our information, is through social media. And everybody has an opinion these days. Everyone wants to jump out there and join something. It is unbelievable how much we are being ridiculed and stomped on by the oppressing, and they're using I'm hearing stories. They're literally telling people to get out there and shut us down on media. Whatever we say or we post or in support to Gaza or to what's happening, they are jumping on and shutting us down as much as they can. And I know some people within the news stations, the media. The oppressing is literally sending money here and telling them, giving them stories and paying them. Even influencers here say this, do that, put it out there. You know,
like cash here.
Yeah, they're giving
like,
the money.
Here, take cash.
This.
Just say this.
Just say this. Here's the story that we have. Put it out there. Everyone push it. They're putting millions of dollars behind it. They're fighting us everywhere in every way possible because, like you said, they're scared.
I believe they're scared. They say, tough times make strong people make good times create weak people. I really believe Banu Israel, just the Zionist agenda, they were strong at some point, right? Like because they came from tough situation, right? And I think now they're weak, right? Because the good times passed and created weak people, which it's our turn. And there's one of the sunnahs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's this dual, right? Good and bad, they switch off. And it's our turn, man. I mean, we're in tough time. We're creating some solid people. I mean, like you said, some of those kids in Palestine, they've been through 5 wars. If you survive 5 wars, can you tell me, what's death? Mm-hmm. What is that? I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be gone 5 times. And that's fearlessness, and that's what's gonna take to create good times. And I think we're and they know that, and they see that, and it's very scary. And that's why I'm with you. I have a lot of hope. And I think the wisdom behind this is to wake us up, is to create that group of people that are going to be fearless. And again, we're not trying to go out there and take people out. We're not trying to go out there and be something we're not. We are, like you said, our foundation is justice. This whole faith is about justice, and that's what we want to do. We want, if Palestine, if it's fair, why Jews could live there? We have no issue. Dude, please worship Allah. Like, you worship Allah. If you're worshiping God, like, go ahead. Everybody's welcome to worship whatever they want. Like, just, as long as everybody's fair, everybody's getting their share. But alhamdulillah, man, I think it might be us, it might be the next generation, it might be the one after. We have to play the patient game, but we have to do our part, inshallah.
Yeah, we'll talk about the kids and the resilience and the hope. And after the break, I want to get just final comments about the whole media war and what we can do. I know you said they're paying influencers. So if you are an influencer and don't sell yourself, don't sell your soul, no matter how much cash they offer you, that's an obvious one. And I think most people have a level of dignity to understand that. But I mean, what else can we do in this whole media war thing?
I think you have to understand the psychology behind media. First of all, it's a for-profit industry, right? Mm-hmm. Ultimately, it's a dollars game. You're not going to win that battle, right? And the experience of media and news headlines, you'll log into all these networks, they'll have the same headlines, right? It's reinforcing a message. The more you hear the same message, the more it becomes a truth in your mind. Mm-hmm. As a common kind of layperson just watching the evening news. With that being said, what we do have access to is our neighborhoods, our local involvement, just being vocal. If you have a business, coming out and saying, hey, I don't stand up for this. People know Hisham is a solid guy. He's honest. He's a good guy. And hold on, what is he saying? He's telling me I should stop and feel the humanity of the people who are oppressed. I don't think that's a bad thing. And so you start tuning out the billions of dollar industry and tuning in with those who are talking to you on a day-to-day basis, right? And so I think that's really the channel that we have to focus on. Because like we were talking about earlier, it's this wave, this rogue wave that comes at us. Like, dude, some people can barely pay their bills every month. Like, how do I fight this machine? And you fight it with what you have access to, which is your ability to connect with the people around you. And when enough people do that, then that current starts building up, and you overcome that wave. I think that's really our only hope and our only approach.
Yeah. Yeah. Any thoughts on that point?
Yeah, just I'll try to be brief here. Going on after what Hisham said, we know now, and we knew before, and we kept on saying it, and people weren't hearing us, but now there's been many different experiments, and it's been proven that Facebook, who owns Instagram, the different social media companies, that they are calibrating their algorithm to suppress a lot of the things that are coming out of speaking for Palestinian human rights, speaking for ceasefire, speaking for justice, and amplifying the other side, the narrative of the other side, which is pro-war, which is equating all Palestinians more or less to a terrorist organization or supporting a terrorist organization. And so therefore their lives aren't worth as much as Israeli lives. We know this to be true. And when you see that, an American company, many of these are American companies, many of these CEOs that are coming out and saying immediately, we stand with Israel, knowing exactly what's going to happen the next minute, which is a carpet bombing of an entire population that has no refuge, unable to escape, that was already which the UN described as unlivable in 2018, which has 95% of the population did not have access to clean water as defined by the UN in terms of standards, international standards. 65% of the population lived with food insecurity. Muhammad was saying less than 6 to 12 hours of electricity per day. These are crazy statistics that, like, before what happened 2 weeks ago, not because of, before. So you're going from a humanitarian crisis ongoing to now a humanitarian disaster when you completely cut off food, water, electricity, medical aid to the entire population. And so What that tells you is, again, I go to the point that they're afraid. And you asked about, what is it that we could do? We're sort of up against billions of dollars of propaganda that's coming out from the Israeli government. They have literally units and units and units of trained people in media from their military. This is their only job, is to do this, to bombard the population of their propaganda time and time and time again. You hear about the Palestinian flag being, first of all, within Israel, it was illegal to carry the Israeli flag. Now in Europe, in Germany, in France, it's illegal to protest for a ceasefire. It's illegal to protest for human rights and to end the killing that you can get jailed for. It's come to a point where they are afraid. They're afraid. They're afraid of the youth who don't get their cues and they don't get their media from traditional media outlets. They're on the ground. They're the ones on TikTok. They're doing more work than you and I and everyone between. These are the generations that are way more savvy than we'll ever be in terms of media.
And the statistics show that the 80% are in support of Palestine.
100%.
Yeah.
And to think that the government of Israel has the fourth most powerful military army in the world, that has the seat of high tech outside of Silicon Valley, that they're afraid of like 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 15-year-olds, because they see the truth and they are relentless. They see how relentless the bombing campaign is in Gaza and the occupation is in Gaza and in Palestine, and they are doubling down. They're not afraid. They're not afraid. They'll lose sleep. They'll stay up. They'll post and repost, and they won't stop because they see the injustice for what it is, and no one else could. The Israeli military is more afraid of those kids than they are of any Arab government, of any Muslim government.
And we're still winning. And we haven't spent $1. They spent $1 billion. And the narrative is changing for us in our. I mean, we haven't spent any money. Really, how much money have we spent on it? So they're spending billions, as you said, billions of dollars on this. Not losing sleep on it. And from what I see, we're winning. And because it's real, it's truth, and people are smart. At the end of the day, they can separate.
You could keep hiding the sun, but it's there.
Exactly. Exactly.
Eventually, they can see it's right there.
Things are changing, inshallah.